What's good, people? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house one more again. Been away for about a couple of weeks, and man, the Cowboys are one of these organizations. If you kind of blink your eyes or like look away and go do something else, you come back, man, it's a whole different narrative. I had a video set up to do Thursday or Friday, and then gonna come back and do a preview video on yesterday. But things got in the way and couldn't get around to doing them. And shoot, all the stuff I had planned on those videos, that whole landscape didn't change now. So all that stuff is never mind. What we need to know about today, that gets signed for a record-breaking contract. And we're going to talk about that, what I think about the deal, what I think the effects were on the deal, the timing and all of that stuff with the deal. And then the Cowboys get them a opening day win that nobody thought they was going to get. We're going to talk a little bit about that game too. So just sit back and hang with your boy. We're going to talk all about it. Back in just a minute.
Two times on the beat, bitch.
Once again, what's going on? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house. Please hit that like, that comment, and subscribe button, please. If you watch the video, please hit the like. I mean, it don't cost you nothing. As my man landlord says, it don't charge your card or any of those types of things. It just lets the YouTube police know that you like, watching this particular content. And it's a good way for it to direct it to other folks that may like this content. So just like the video, please, if you watch. And, heck, even if you don't like the content. But I can't see why you wouldn't like the content, because it's not like I'm, hurting animals or nothing. We're just talking Cowboys, and, not from an old dude's perspective. But anyway, man, back to the lecture at hand. Anyway, I was all set to talk about the Diana Rossini report, the Jerry Stephen A. Smith interview, which was just total. Why? But I know why, because Jerry insisted, and of course Stephen is his boy, so he comes down, and they want to do. There was a bunch of foolish nonsense that was in the video and everything. It was about an hour and some change. That's an hour you ain't gonna never get back. So I was all set to talk about that, and going into the week one and all this kind of stuff, and then the Diana Rossini report, all that was going to be on the same video, which was ridiculous too, because it was talking about that wanting a long-term deal and the Cowboys wanting a short-term deal, and we know that's exactly opposite. The players always want a short deal that way, because we know with all these new streaming things. I mean, anybody that tried to watch the game in Sao Paulo, the Eagles and the Packers on Friday, had to get a app from, was it Piedmont? I mean, Paramount, or was it Peacock? It was one of them. And, so there's always all these other streaming opportunities that are giving money to the NFL. So what does that mean? The salary cap is about to what? Right? So with the salary cap going up, took that in there. Wow. Hang like that. Shirt's on raggedy. Okay. With that being said, the players all want to, hey, let's sign a shorter term deal. And that way I can get me another bite of the apple here, in just a little bit. Let me move this camera over. I like to be in the center, man, like that. Yeah. let's do that like that. Yeah. So So I always thought that was backwards, but Lando and Boss Cowboy, and I agree with both of them. They said, "Man, that's wee woo. That's just something they say, meaning it's BS." But when they start talking about it's this and it's not that or whatever, it's usually mean the deal is close. And I'm telling you, the deal got done today, and I'm gonna tell you about that. So the deal gets done. Dak signs this monumental deal, which that's the story today. 4 years, $240 with $231 million of it guaranteed. That means ain't been $9 million of it is being haggled over. He's gonna whatever come, old folks used to say H or H, he's gonna get $231 million. So and to me, that was what the hang up always was. The hang up was always going to be the hang up was always going to be we'll show this one. Show that one. Got the wrong crawl up here. That one was always going to be a lot of times the hang up is always going to be the guaranteed money. It's not. A lot of times the low hanging fruit is what's the average money per year, right? And it's not always that. It's always the guarantees. Because I'm telling you, that's a violent sport, man. And since they won't make it, the deals where, players get guaranteed contracts, anything like that. What they try to do is do it on an individual basis, build that into your individual contract, not, blanket. Everybody gets a guaranteed contract like NFL, NBA, all their contracts are guaranteed. I think baseball, all their contracts are guaranteed. You sign them as guaranteed for the life of the contract. So if you sign a $100 million contract, you're going to get $100 million. No matter how, if they get rid of you, do whatever, you still get that $100 million. Football, which is the most violent of the sport, doesn't do that, but because it's like 53 and 16 on the practice squad, they really don't want to guarantee all that money, and I kind of do get that, but it's a violent sport, and you're more likely to not finish your contract in the NFL than any other sport. So, water's good today, man, for some reason. So Dak signs the contract, and I'm thinking, I'm just going to tell you how it was. This for me. I'm at church. It's 11 o'clock, right? And I get a notification. And I'm not one of these types. I'm at church. I'm looking at my phone. If I'm looking at my phone, I'm writing notes down what the minister's talking about, right? I'm not writing notes, and I'm not searching Facebook or all this kind of stuff, or surfing Instagram or whatever. No. So I get a notification. So. And it just happened to go. And I said, Dak signed this up. But I never opened it up. I just saw it. And I'm like, wow, today? And so, and I thought about it. And I thought about that. And we're going to get on to the game. I thought about it. And I felt like, I bet you that deal been done a few days. And it's just a matter of time. Jerry's like, let me spring it when I want to spring it. Because as my crawl says, I got to get more bang for the buck. And by bang, I mean, how much exposure can I get out of this deal? In other words, I'm not going to just do the deal for the sake of doing the deal. I got to do the deal where I get some extra out of it. I got to get some, out of it, right? And so that's always the thing. And so I guess when you play for the Cowboys, and you play for Jerry Jones, it's the media attention and the media stuff and all that's always going to be a part of the landscape. There's no escaping it. And it does a lot. It does a couple things. So because actually in one of his press conferences a couple of days ago, and then somebody's even saying Dak had a little smirk in his face, on his face a lot. And I was like, it didn't look like him. He looked like, and I'm thinking they were thinking like, the deal probably already was done. And so basically I'm saying, like, for instance, that because he said something like when they was talking about like, well, how's CD working with you? Because no, you ain't gonna have him but a couple of weeks. He said, yeah, but I'll get him over to the house because everybody knows Dak has a full size football field, marked, lined, and everything, and they call it the Dak yard. Everybody knows he's got the Dak yard, right? So, and so at the end of the thing, and everybody was talking about, well, it's outside, it's hot because they've been having some record heat out there. It's been hot, right? And he says, "Who knows, man? If I get any of this new money, I might be able to cover it. I might be able to put a dome around it. I might put a tent over it or a covering over it. Who knows with the new money?" And I'm like, that don't even sound like that. So I'm thinking that deal was already done when he did that. It says that Jerry made them put them on hush until it got done, right? So I'm just guessing. That's just me. There's no way that we can verify any of that, but that's just my perspective on that. That when they start talking about that oh, it's not this, it's not that, it's not the amount of money, it's the years. Because they said the same thing with CD at the end of the training camp, and we're not in no hurry. And then 2 days later, it was done. You can't tell me they hammered that out in 2 days. That stuff been done. They were just waiting to spring it on you. So let's talk about the deal. It's 4 years, $240 million. So you do the math, and you're like, oh man, that's $60 million a year. I knew it. He wanted $60 million. Hold on. Because this isn't a fresh contract. This is an extension. Because he was already going to get $40 million this year. So the extension takes on from 25 and 4 years after that. So it's really a 5-year, $280 million contract. And so if you do the math, and I have to credit my man Lando, the Lando show. That's a good show, man. Y'all should subscribe to Lando. Lando's got some good info, man. That's one of the better cowboy content creators, So when you do that math, 5 years, 280, it comes right at $56 million a year, which is what? Right in line with what everybody, the next step up on the rung. I think Jalen got 51, Lamar got 52. I think Herbert got 52, 53, and I think then again Goff got 53, and then Tua got 55, and then Jordan Love got 55, and all that kind of stuff. Joe Burrow got like 54, 55. All of them got the incremental more, $1 more $1 million, whatever like that. So he comes in at 56 if you do the math, because it's an extension. So 56 now, I don't know if that makes it any better. Like I said, oh, he wants 60, but yeah, what? If he got 55, you'd be mad. You'd be happy if you got 55 and says, hey, what's that? What the Cowboys gonna do with that $5 million? What they gonna do with that? What is they gonna do with that? It is what it is. He wasn't gonna take. If I'm him, I'm not taking $40 million and Jordan Love getting 55, and he got one playoff win and really ain't got but 12, 13 starts. Oh man, come on, man. That's just the nature of the beast, man. So now in his press conference, he did say this after the game that he's going to do everything he can to live up to it. And he wants to win a Super Bowl. He said nothing less than a Super Bowl is acceptable, and I want to win it here, and I want to be here. So whatever you think about that, like I said, I'm not one to think Dak is like the perfect quarterback, but a lot of times our vision on what a quarterback is skewed. We want somebody with unmatchable physical skills or something. We want him to run over guys and run into the end zone like Josh Allen. Well, everybody ain't built like that. Or you want him to be a precision passer like like you say, maybe a Tom Brady used to be or something like that, or a Peyton Manning used to be. But what if you just got a little bit of a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, and you put it all together, but you're not like great at any one thing, but you can put a bunch of little things together. You could be a capable quarterback. And for me, all those guys that are in the top paid quarterback list, they're kind of those guys. Ain't none of them guys Peyton Manning. Ain't none of them guys Patrick Mahomes. Ain't none of them guys Tom Brady, but they're just good quarterbacks that are in this era. And that's, this is what this era pays. So, I mean, it's what it is. It's money to be made. Salary cap's going up. I mean, I'm not mad at nobody else making money. What, would you like them not to make money? Cowboys are just weird because they got more of their own fans that hate their quarterback than people from outside the organization that like other teams. It's the weirdest thing to me because he's not Patrick Mahomes or he's not, but he's still better than 80% of the quarterbacks in the league. He just is, regardless of what you think about him. He just is. He's better than 80% of the quarterbacks in the league. You didn't think he's better than Deshaun Watson today? You don't think if you swap places and put Deshaun on our team, on their team, on our team, and put Dak on that they would have won the game? Because I do. Because I think their defense is pretty good too. But, Deshaun put the ball in harm's way several times, made a bunch of, was a lot of pocket unawareness and stuff like that. And, he's better than most of the quarterbacks. I mean, let's just be honest. He just is. And the people that know football will tell you that. But if you listen to the ESPN people, and this is something Landau said, don't let them people poison your mind because they do. They don't really know football. They know sports as a whole, right? Anyway, he got his deal. But anyway, so what I want to talk about is we talk about that and the deal. When they decided to do it, because like I said, I bet you Jerry wanted to break that thing on Thursday night, before the Chiefs Ravens game. But Roger Goodell probably said, man, you better not do that, man, and you ain't gonna get no call Sunday. You ain't gonna get no calls. Every time you get a big run, it's gonna be yellow laundry on the field. Holding, number 73, offense. Repeat first down, be 1st and 20 all day long. Yeah, you better not spring that. You better not spring it on Friday because we're trying to build this thing in Sao Paulo, Brazil. You better not spring that. So he said, well, dadgummit, I'll do it on about 30 minutes before opening day or an hour before opening kickoff or whatever. And I'll just spring it then. And you know what? That's all everybody was talking about. Dak gets his deal. Of course, that provides a whole bunch of talking points. Guys fighting with each other on air. Oh, I don't think he should have got it. Well, he had to do it because what were they going to do? Go the other way and go 5-11? Well, you get a first round pick. Well, you do know just because you get the first round pick, I don't mean you're going to get a good quarterback. I don't mean he's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Well, it might be Caleb Williams. Did you see Caleb Williams today? That kid was like, I don't know, 10 or 30 for 94 yards. This thing is not an exact science. It's just not. So, but what I was going to say, I said, and I thought about that, and I was like, dang, what effect would that have announcing this now right before a game? Now, they're in Cleveland. They're resting, getting ready for the game because I think I read that he was at the hotel. He was hanging out with Zeke and the trainers and stuff like that, getting ready, getting his mind right and all that kind of stuff. And he get a call from Todd France and, hey, man, all the stuff there. That's supposedly the way they said it went down. But I'm wondering what that messed him up in his prep because he's like, dang, it got done and whatnot. And then maybe he's not as focused as he would be. The other thing I thought would that maybe make them maybe the team, would they play harder for Dak? Because let's face it, even though you guys may not, care for Dak that much, and I think it's kind of 50-50 down the middle in the Cowboys fan base. But I'm going to tell you this, right, like this. The other players on the team, they love Dak. You should have heard what Brandon Cooks had to say about him. He said it was blasphemy how the mainstream media, talks about him. And see, the thing is why I would never get a Cowboys a hometown discount, because a lot of that scrutiny comes on him because the organization kind of lets that happen to him. And you don't see no other organization letting that happen to their star player. You don't ever see the Bills letting Josh Allen have. Josh Allen had as many failings in the playoffs as Dak has. Now, he's won a couple more games, But he's had you thought last year was successful? They got beat at home by the Kansas City Chiefs in the second round. Division winner, losing to a wild card team, even though it is them, they had a better record than them, and they beat them that year, right? The year before, they lose to Cincinnati. They didn't lose to them; they got smoked by them, right? He's had some losses too, but the organization never puts him in the line where they can pile on him, where the Cowboys allow Dak to get piled on, and so he gets an unmerciful amount of scrutiny. I mean, not saying that he shouldn't have get any, but I'm just saying that the Cowboys, the way they're structured, the way it's a media machine and whatnot, they kind of let him kind of hit the fan when other teams kind of protect their stars from that kind of thing because they want them to be in a positive and a frame of mind. And the Cowboys rather, we don't care if you're in a positive frame of mind or not. We don't care if you're. If you be stronger than that, be that, whatever, because everybody can't be a Cowboy. Let's just face it. So I thought that maybe the team might play hard. Like, man, we got our guy. He got signed. We really believe in him. And then Brandon said something. Hey, man, Dak's the dude, one of the best dudes I've ever been around. But, we got to play better around him. And if you look at all the playoff losses that he's had, if you were honest about it, the team has not played well around him in any of those games. And all the games that he's lost, man, we only average about 3 yards a carry on the run and running the thing. And I'm not saying you got to have a guy running the ball for 100 yards every game, but that government, you got to get more than 40 and 50, and then you got to be able to stop the run. Every game that they've lost, they've given up, that he's lost, they've, with the exception of the second 49ers game, they've always have given up the losses. They've always given up like 30 points. Even Tom Brady, when his team gives up 30 points in the playoff game, doesn't win as much, hasn't won it all. Okay. So, sometimes it ain't just him. That idea that he's got to carry the organization on his shoulders. Now, I don't really see nobody really doing that. Even Patrick Mahomes had to have a defense to help carry that thing, right? And so, defense and, Andy Reid on the sideline don't really suck. Guy that can draw up plays and nobody seems to see him coming. That's an art to that, man. He just on a different level than Mike McCarthy. I like Mike, but they not the same. They just not. They just not. But anyway, deal got signed, and I thought maybe Dak would press a little bit. Now, I'll admit, the game, this wasn't one of Dak's better games in terms of I thought he was off on a little throws here or there. I thought he was on point as it relates to pointing out where the rush was coming from and who's the hot guy and all these kind of things, which that's part of the game. The art of being a quarterback too is being the field general. Like, hey, it's not just you walk up to the line, down, set, hut, you make throws. No, you got to set up, especially with two rookies on the offensive line. Yeah, you got to, hey, man, no. You ain't lined up right. You got to be here. You got to kind of be, a kindergarten, a teacher here because you got to teach them things. This is their first game. You got two of your 5 guys on the offensive line. This is their first game. So it's a lot of that, guys directing, guys moving up in the pocket. And he took more snaps from under center than he used it because most of all our stuff is in shotgun. But Cooper Beebe was liable to snap that thing over his head. So we don't want to give him too many of that, not in his first game. But anyway, so I thought maybe Dak would maybe a little, and I thought maybe some of that, but I do think that the team did play hard for him today. I think the defense especially, I thought they played hard for him today. So let's get into the game. So we talked about the Dak issues and everything, the Dak contract and everything, and the specifics on that. So let's actually talk about the game. The game kicked off. It was a little slow at first, started in a couple of punts. And it didn't start off well for us. A penalty, a sack. Zach Martin got beat. He got beat on a couple of times. He got beat one time by Dalvin Tomlinson. I thought Dak wasn't getting up, man. That dude like 330 pounds. Dude from Alabama, Roll Tide. But he went full flash on Dak, like with all his weight. And that's one of them I thought they supposed to have called, but I don't beg for calls. But I was like, whoop, Zach, you got to be better than that, man. You can't get your boy killed after he just got his money. You can't do that, man. But he got sacked another time where Guyton got ran around by Myles Garrett. And Myles Garrett just don't beat you, And he got strip sacked, but they was able to get the ball back. But it took it not the down and distance. They lost like 7 or 8 yards or whatever on that and stuff like that. But overall, the Browns scored on their like third possession, got a couple of first downs and kicked the field goal, 3-0. Who they had a lead. Then we came right down, 7 plays, 60 yards, capped off by a 34-yard beautiful catch down the right sideline by CeeDee Lamb. Couple of nice runs and passes by and completions to Zeke. And Zeke got like a 3-yard run for a touchdown, 7-3, and they never looked back. So it was 7-3, then 14-3 because they got the ball another time and drove down. It was a beautiful pass. And that wasn't actually CD. That was a pass to Brandon Cooks. I'm sorry. That was a different touchdown. First touchdown was like a 21-yard pass to Brandon Cooks on one of his patented sort of corner routes or whatever he does, getting the year off started, man. So Brandon Cooks had that one. Then we got the ball back, and it was some nice. I thought Zeke ran the ball kind of good, real well, better than I thought. Obviously, not what he was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, any of those times, but I thought he gave a little bit of wiggle here. I mean, as much as he could. He was nice out of the backfield. He had some nice chip blocks on Myles Garrett and things of that nature. But there was one particular play on that particular drive where it was like 2nd and 9, and they dumped it out to him in the flat, and he came to the sideline, and I seen a corner come up trying to tackle him. I'm like, oh, Zeke finna wipe that dude out, man. And that's pretty much what he did. And they got the first down, and he went on, got it in there, and he got another pass play, and then he got some nice running plays up in there. Rico Dowdle had a nice couple of runs, and they got inside the 5, and Zeke plunged it in from 3 yards out to make it 14-3, and then it was on. It was 14-3, then it was 17-3, then 20-3 at halftime, and then the second half stopped the Browns, and then they punt to Cavante Turpin. This fool we've been waiting for since 22. Cut that thing down the right sideline, went to the end zone, 27-3. At that point, it was over. Because I'm like, that team ain't going to score 20 points on us. They just not. So they end up winning 33-17. And so I got my grades here. I thought the offense, and first of all, I thought this was what you would call a total team win. Now, I would give more of the emphasis on the defense because I thought the defense played well. I think they had 6 sacks. They had 2 interceptions. They had a ton of pressures. I think they had like 6 guys with multiple pressures. And I don't think we got elite pass rushers outside of Micah because I don't remember seeing even Carl Lawson. I don't even know if he got moved to the 53. So really, it was just, I think it was the scheme that Mike Zimmer was employing that moved Micah around in various places. And so I thought that was key in getting the pressure on Deshaun Watson, who looked completely inept. I mean, he made – now, that one throw that he made, I will give him credit for, was in the third quarter, I think. And God bless him, he got blasted by Jordan Phillips, man. He got blasted. That dude went right up the middle and that dude 340-some-odd pounds. And but blam. And he threw it, and he obviously couldn't get all of it, getting all on the throw because he got the freaking wind knocked out of him. And Amari Cooper had that ball right in his head. That would have probably been like a 35, 40-yard touchdown. It would have been pretty too. And I was like, and I have to say, man, there was a guy that was in the chats, and I was in the chat in Landlord of Alabama's show about a week ago, and I was saying, Amari gonna have a chip on his shoulder. He's saying, "Oh, you're gonna put a rookie on me. I'm fixing to school him." And somebody came, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he came in the chat and said, "Nah, Amari really ain't built like that." And I'm like, "Okay, we'll see." I'm good to admit that I was wrong. He was right. Amari wasn't built like that because he was a total non-factor in today's game. Total non-factor. You got a rookie starting at right corner, and you don't take advantage of that. And you being the route running savant that you are, you don't ever take advantage of that. And he just never made any impact on the game whatsoever. So these are the things when you listen to Mike Fisher and those people, they said this is what the Cowboys front office is talking about. When you start, because I really felt bad that they got rid of Cooper because I like Cooper. He's a titer. So, yeah, I'm going to roll with him. But there are games, the Jets game in 2019, the Packers game 2019, the Eagles game 2019, like when he kind of let's check yourself out the game, kind of like, and I'm paying you $20 million, But he was a non-factor today. All right. So, but it was a total team win. And so I'm gonna say I'm gonna give the offense a C+. It was okay, wasn't great, but it didn't make the big mistake. And when the game became out of reach, when I would say after Cavante Turpin ran that intercept that punt back for a touchdown, I think they went in Operation Shutdown. Or back in the 80s, Dean Smith they went to four corners. Y'all don't know nothing about that. That was something that Dean Smith used to do in the 80s in his North Carolina Tar Heels basketball team. When they got up in the second half, by 10 or 12 or so some points, there wasn't no shot clock back then. They would go four corners on you. So I know when they went 27-3, I know it's a play calling got, we went almost the third quarter and almost didn't have like 7 yards of offense because they just running clock, just throwing, they win, sense of putting the ball in harm's way. No reason to give a win back that you're already, getting hay out the barn, you're already packed in there, right? So I give the offense a C-. I think Dak, I'll get into his stats in a minute. I thought he was, he's competent. He made some throws. And he just didn't make the bad mistake or whatever and whatnot. You have to factor in that you got the thing today, the contract today. That's why you really can't do that with everybody. Sometimes you may try to do too much because you feel like, I got to earn this. So you'll go try to dial one through the keyhole and get it picked off. You know what I'm saying? I see a couple people are in there rocking with me tonight, man. Hit that like button, please, while you're in, if you don't mind, please. I see 4 or 5 of you in there. Nobody knew I was on because I couldn't get the thing to go on. Come on, I had some Facebook things with my setup and whatever. So I've been trying to get on for about an hour or so. So I didn't, a lot of times it don't be no set time. I just, whenever the time is right and the logistic lineup, I'll just do a video. So I just, obviously I'm going to do one night. We won the game and and I was going to come on, win, lose or draw. But and I think the defense, I'm going to give them B+, A-. I thought they gave up some stuff late that I didn't like. For instance, when we went up 27-3, I thought we had them in a 3rd and 16 or whatever, and I thought Carson played soft on Jerry Jeudy and allowed him to get that first down. That led them getting that touchdown. I don't think that if he'd have played that, because I would have been like, man, we're up 27-3. Ain't nothing. This guy ain't gonna beat me deep. I'm gonna chuck him at the line of scrimmage, and he gonna have to beat me to get this first down. And he just laid off of him, let him get it, and that guy slid down the sideline and got the first down. And that kind of was the play that instrumentally let them get on down the field and got that first touchdown. But I knew they weren't going to win the game, but I would so like that thing to have been 33-3. That would have been, whatever. But call me greedy, but whatever. But so that's why I say I give them a B+, A-. But I can't really. I gotta give them an A because, man, the pressures was all over the place, man. And we'll get into the numbers here in a minute. But I'm gonna give the special teams. I'm gonna give it an A, not an A+. I'm gonna give them an A because there's no excuse for not getting that field goal off before halftime. That can't happen. Otherwise, Brandon Aubrey went 4 for 4 with his longest being 57 yards. But the dude before halftime kicked a 66-yard field goal, but they didn't get the playoff in time. And I'm sitting there watching. You got 2 timeouts. Why do you burn a timeout? And that way you don't lose the, because he kicked that thing through and it had time. It had room to spare too. That thing would have been good from 68, 69, right? So they did, and I watched the play again, and I'm like, yeah, I said, because Mike McCarthy was upset about something, because sometimes they reset that play clock, but there was really no reason for them not to get that play off. They were lollygagging. They really were. There's one of my terms. They were lollygagging, right? And they didn't get the playoff, and there was no fault of nobody's but theirs, because you sitting on 2 timeouts. What are you going to take them timeouts in the halftime for? You don't get them 2 timeouts back. You don't get 5, the 3 you get in the second half plus them 2. Might well burn it. Yeah. What if they did do that though? Let you roll your timeouts over into the second half, man. That'd be interesting. But yeah, you can't not. Then Kevontae Turpin had the 60-yard kick, punt return. Yeah, those if they don't let him kick that 66-yard field, they moved it back 5 yards, and they thought about trying it from 71, but they was like, no, we don't sense in trying that on them. The game is rail out of reach. What if you make that dude pull a hamstring trying to kick this long, ridiculous field goal? For what? For who? For what? Right? So they punt, they let him do a Hail Mary and whatever, and so it didn't work. But I give them an A instead of an A+. If they got that 66-yard field goal on there, it would have been perfect. It'd been A+, all up down the line. So my game balls. I'm gonna go with Dak because he gets the contract. He didn't have a great game, but I know low-hanging fruit thinking Cowboy fan. Why did he go 30 for 38 for 350 and 4 touchdowns? You got to factor in that's the number 1 defense in the league. That's some good defensive players on that team, And the reason we're able to get 33 points was that eventually that team wore down, right? Because they kept going 3 and out. I think they had like 47 yards at halftime, 2 first downs. So I don't know, man. So yeah, it wasn't necessary for him to do it. Like I said, you got guys like Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, Tomlinson. You got Cole Moore, that linebacker. That's a dude right there. That's like a top 3, top 4 linebacker in the league right there. Then you got Greg Newsome. And Denzel Ward in the secondary, man, that's a good team, man. I don't know what y'all were thinking they were supposed to be able to just do to them. That's a good defense. It's just that they were on the field quite a bit, So, but yeah, I'm gonna give Dak. He was 19 of 32, I think 179 yards. No, he had sacks and he had like 3 sacks in there, So I'm gonna give the offensive line like a C. But I really should give him a B because it's like rookies on there, But I'm gonna give the offense an A. I'm gonna give Dak a game ball for getting the contract, getting the win, and basically being a field general and just guiding the ship, right? Because it's what he called for in that particular game, right? But I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give one to CeeDee Lamb. I think he had 5 catches for 61 yards. That 34-yarder down the right sideline was brilliant, man. And you gotta give CeeDee a little bit of grace because his wind ain't there. He ain't had no training camp and all this kind of stuff. So when Jerry chooses to do these things how he does them, he does not have factor in what effect this has on the team because that dude missed all training camp. So he's not gonna be the same dude he would have been if he had the training camp and he got his lather all up, But I'm gonna give Brandon Cooks one. He's 4 catches, 41 yards, that nice touchdown in the first quarter. I'm gonna give Zeke a game ball, 4 catches, 10 catches, 10 carries, 40 yards, so it's 4 yards per carry. And he said he only had 2 catches for 9 yards. It looked like he had more than that, but I thought I saw some important catches that he made and to keep the chains and stuff moving, and he did some things to keep the chains moving. And I know a lot of people were kind of polarized on Zeke coming back, but hey, man, if he can help us win, he can help us win, whatever. So we'll see how that goes coming. Because he didn't play any preseason either. So I'm gonna go on defense. I'm gonna go Demarion Overshawn. Look here, man. I see Demo, and I think they had him on a couple of plays spying on Deshaun Watson. That dude got shot out of a cannon because I didn't see him. Number 30, no 13, come flying out of there and just blasted Deshaun Watson. And I was like, dang, where did he come from? Because he's like, yeah, if he take off, I'm going. If he starts like he's gonna take off, I'm gonna blast in and get him. Demarion Overshawn ended up with 11 tackles, 5 of them solo. He had 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, a quarter and 2 quarterback hits, and also a sack. He had 1 sack, and another tackle for loss. Leading tackler on the game. Okay, Demarion Overshawn. Also, I got to give a shout out to Eric Kendricks. He might be my player of the game because dude piloted that defense. As being the green dot guy, playing middle linebacker on a tip drill off of Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons rushed as far as he could, got both hands up, tipped it up. Eric Kendricks got it. He also had a sack. Eric Kendrick had 9 tackles, 6 solo, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass breakup, 2 quarterback hits, and an interception. So he would be my defensive player of the game if there was such a thing. If I didn't, but he definitely gets a game ball. So Eric Kendrick, that is a great signing by the Cowboys as they load free agent signing other than the 2 big boys they got late. But yeah, Demarion Overshawn, Eric Kendricks. I'm gonna go D-Law. D-Law had 5 tackles, 4 solo. He had 2 sacks himself, 3 tackles for loss, had 4 quarterback hits, and was stout on the run when they're trying to run them outside things. Right outside, I think they had about 80 yards rushing or something like that. Shoot, I ain't got to guess. I'll just tell you it's right here. I'm doing it ghetto style. I'm doing it on my phone. I could just go right there, but I'm not going. I'm gonna do it right. Do it right here. Now, we only had 265 yards of total offense. The Browns had 93 yards rushing, and we had 102. Okay. Anywho, getting back to the defensive players that I thought made an impact. I thought Trayvon Diggs played a solid corner, didn't give up anything of any major consequence. He had 5 tackles, 4 solo, had 2 pass breakups, and an interception that was tipped, and he picked it off. So Kendricks and Trayvon Diggs had picks. I'm going to go Jordan Lewis. It doesn't say he had 5 tackles and 3, but I saw a lot of passes that they threw underneath, and I'm thinking now, a guy like Big David Njoku, I think he's going to run through Lewis. Lewis is a little fella. And he was that dude. He a dude, man. He tackled them guys, and he made some great one-on-one tackles in space, and overall played a good slot corner. I didn't hear Elijah Moore's name called that many times. He's their slot guy that I was kind of worried about, but Jordan Lewis played his position today. Kalen Carson, got to give him some love too. I didn't put him on the crawl, but starting your first NFL game, I said on the big thing, I said he almost got a pick in I think 3rd quarter. Only thing I would get on him for is playing that soft one when they was up 27-3, because I thought they could have got the ball back, and probably could have put some more points on the board instead of letting them get down and actually scored that first touchdown in the 3rd quarter. I thought he played well. I thought he tackled well. I thought he covered with confidence. I thought he's getting in there and making hits, knocking balls down. It says here he had 4 tackles, 4 solo, had 2 pass defenses. Okay, and that's pretty good for a center. I mean, for a corner, a rookie corner, that's pretty good. And I thought he had a good game. And of course, he can't leave out Micah. Micah, although he only had 1 sack, that he had 4 tackles, 3 solo, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack, 1 pass defense. But he had 5 quarterback hits. That means guy got the ball away, but he was wearing Micah's cologne, if you understand what I'm saying. He got up close and personal with him. All right. So those are my guys right there, man. I'm giving game balls to. And like I said, just a good corporate win. So now what I'm going to say, looking forward, now I'm not one of those people that turn cartwheels because we won a game in September, because we've done that before. We won 40-0 at New York last year, and it looked a certain way. And I'm trying to fight myself not to turn this into the Giants game last year, because the Giants supposedly had a good defense and the offense you didn't know about because you got Daniel Jones. And once they got behind, that kind of changes the game plan a little bit, because the way we were built, if we ever get a lead, you really don't want to play us because we get pressure, right? So, but I think now we're more adept to playing a different style because we have big boys. We have Linval. We got, Mozzie, is going to play, well, I feel this year. And of course, you got Linval and you got Jordan Phillips. Like I said, he had that hit on Deshaun Watson that I thought they was going to have to come scrape him up off the field. So we can play where you can't just smash mouth us now. So, and I think we'll be able to stay in games longer if we don't jump on teams immediately. I think we can play different this year. That's my saving grace. But I'm not going to jump. I'm not going to say we're going to the Super Bowl because we won today. I think you always temper the first game because you ain't played in 6 months, 7 months, or however long it was when he's playing in mid-January. So what's it? 8 months. And so, it's going to be some rust. It's going to be the timing. Some of those things going to be off. You'll get better as the weeks go on. So I'm not going to, throw a parade here. But I will say water do taste pretty good right about now, though. And this is water. That's what this is. But yeah, that's a good solid win. And we got New Orleans coming up. I think they beat the Panthers like 150-10 or something. I think it was like 44-10 or 45-10 or something like that. So they scored some points. They got David Carr, they got Chris Olave, and some other guys. And, they got Alvin Kamara and some other players. So they got, and of course they got Jordan on the defensive line and some other same, and Marcus Lattimore in the secondary. So they got players. So we get them in. That's going to be our home opener. So we're looking forward to that. And I'm looking to see how we handle success. That's going to tell me what about this team, because everybody that they talked about in the training camp and in the practices saying this year feels different. And I know we say that every year, but I'm going to watch and see how the next game comes about, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we'll see how it goes next week. But man, a win is a win. Cowboys get that dub. Dak gets his money. All is well. With most of us in Cowboys the Cowboy fandom, half of y'all mad because Dak got his money, and y'all just have to be all right with it. We got him up until 29. He gonna be here. He wants to be here. If they'll just commit to making sure that number one, the play calling is updated and kept fresh, and don't get stale and stagnant, because they're starting to keep stats tonight. Because I don't know if any of y'all watched that Lions Rams game. That's another reason why I didn't get on till later. That was a good game, But they're showing stats from motion in offense, because they were showing that the Lions had like 81% motion in their offense. And because motion keeps the defense off balance. Those are the things I've been talking about. And when all these people criticizing Dak, they're not putting their best step forward, their best foot forward in play calling. They're calling plays like it's 2010. People put motion now, and I saw a lot of that in the game today when they were just running the ball. Sometimes it would be some fake jet jet motion and some misdirection and stuff. You got to implement that in the game. You can't just let the defense just sit on your running plays and sit on your pass. You got to give them something to make them, give them some eye candy, give them something just to make them just hesitate for just a skosh. And sometimes that's all it takes for a play to be successful. We got to do that, man. And we couldn't just, play caveman football and, just run straight up the middle and run ISO block. This guy get that guy, this guy get that guy, and we just run it in the alley. Now, don't nobody run that no more. There's motion, there's screening, there's misdirection, there's all these sorts of things and that allows play. And we got to commit to playing that way. And I think defensively, I think Zimmer got them boys ready, man. I think, man, he's going to have them boys ready for every situation they find themselves. I'm not saying they're going to win every game. I'm not saying they're going to have a good defensive play game every game, but they're not going to have Buffalo happen to us with Zimmer or Green Bay happen to us with Zimmer. He's not letting that happen. And so that's what I'm looking for. So that's all I got for today. As I said, Dak got his money. We got the dub, and all is well in Cowboy land. And let's go Cowboys. I might come on tomorrow to see, what the feelings are. It'll be on late after I get off work, so we'll see. But that's all I got. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and become a part of the Uncle Fred's sports experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Okay. All right, then. I'll catch you guys on the next segment. God bless. And one thing I'm also saying is something Lando's always says, amen. Prayer changes things, man. Changes your life. And I'm always going to be a proponent of that. And that's always going to be a part of something that I'm going to talk about. So, but anyway, God bless. Catch you guys on the next video.